Coming up on this week's show, we talk about Stephen Moffat, talking about returning to Doctor Who alongside Russell T Davies, Big Finish and their upcoming Doctor Who range, and who could be the 14th Doctor. Has Russell T Davies actually told us? Yes, he has.
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous.
I hope the ears are a bit less conspicuous this time.
You might be a Doctor, but I am.
I'm a Doctor, but probably not the one you expect.
Absolutely fantastic.
All of time and space, everything that ever happened or ever will. Where do you want to start?
Hello everybody and welcome back to Bigger on the Inside, the new Who Doctor Who Watch Along podcast. I am Harry here after a week, joined as always by Tim. How you doing?
Hello! It's nice to have you back, Harry.
Yeah, it is nice to be back.
Harrison's a terrible, terrible person.
I know. I don't know why you keep him around, Tim. He's a liability.
He is.
He's a liability. He goes too loud.
He's drunk.
And not to mention the lines of cocaine.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Very unprofessional. Not to mention illegal.
Yeah. Also, coming up on today's episode, we're not doing a season 11 again. We're doing the Ark in Space Part 2. That's with me and Harrison.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because we're having a bit of a break before we're going into Series 5.
Series 5. Sorry, we'll start
in the new year.
In the new year, yeah. Like first week in the new year. Is my plan.
Which means because we've already recorded the 11th hour, and remember that contextually you were acting as if we were going to be doing it the next week, so that's going to make zero sense. I mean, get around to actually including that in. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, we could do with a bit of a break from working through Doctor Who. I feel like when we get to that episode, you'll probably be able to tell there's a bit of fatigue.
Yeah.
I feel like we were excited to go into the new era, but I think after all of RTD1, I think we were starting to lag a bit.
Yeah, I think maybe we should have recorded it a bit later.
I mean, we could re-record the 11th hour.
Nah. I have to find out when we re-record stuff, it doesn't have the same...
That's true, when we re-record it's never as good. Nah. Dalek Revisited is probably our worst instalment.
It's not as bad as original Dalek.
Well, that's because the audio was
audio was bad, I had chronic backache. Do you remember? I had to lay down for most of it.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I always feel bad about that because I like that story so much, and I feel like I did a big disservice to it.
Do you think that Eve of the Daleks looks a bit like Dalek?
No, not at all.
Well, I think it does because they seem to be within a base, and there's
it's like Elf,
Daleks,
isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So they should just call it Daleks, like the Aliens, the sequel to Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hello there. You've caught me in my local public library. I was just catching up on some of the mail and feedback we've been getting from some of our listeners. Let me read this one to you. This is the best podcast ever. I'm working backwards. Comes from Thomas. We always love getting your mail, so keep sending it across in the comments, Twitter, and on Instagram, or even on our email. Right up.
I guess.
Should we do some Doctor Who news, Harry?
Yes.
I imagine we've got loads of it.
We have got a fair few, to be fair. So first up, we've got Mandip Gill talking about her future with the show after 2022.
I imagine she's finished, she's been around for 3 seasons, and she wants to move on to bigger and better things.
Mandip says otherwise.
Ooh.
So Mandip has said...
In your Mandip Gill voice.
I don't have a Mandip Gill voice. You've established this.
Just do Ringo Starr. We didn't have any impressions last week.
What's great about Doctor Who is that the audience is always so open to old and new characters all the time. They don't need a whole new cast every time it starts with a new Doctor. I've loved every minute of the journey, and actually, that'd be some time in the future that would happen, but I'd never say never.
So she would like to stay.
Basically, the kind of thing that I'm vibing from Mandip, and I think I've got it before this interview, is that Mandip is very excited about Russell returning and wouldn't mind...
sticking around.
Yeah, which makes sense. Russell is a big deal. He's a great writer. Who wouldn't want to work with him?
Yeah. That makes me wonder how Yaz exits the series.
Yeah, maybe it ends on a kind of note of ambiguity.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't die.
I don't think Mandip was ever... I don't think Yaz was ever going to die.
I thought she might sacrifice herself for the Doctor.
Do you think?
Well, should we talk a little bit about the end of Flux?
Because I've not talked about my thoughts on Flux.
Go on, then.
I liked it. I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like, honestly, my feelings on Flux at the start pretty much continued through to the end. It was a pretty consistent series, possibly the most consistent series of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it was all written by Chris. It was all very much that same quality, and kind of, I feel like it just followed through on what it promised right to the end. It didn't exceed my expectations, but it definitely didn't go underneath them.
Yeah.
Like, I was satisfied with Flux.
What did you think? Did you think they were going to kiss?
No, I've heard some people saying that they're sensing some sort of romantic thing
Between that scene at the end, there was definitely an underlining romantic thing.
I really didn't sense
I didn't think
that.
she was going to go, see you soon.
No, I sense that they obviously really deeply value each other.
I feel like
as friends,
one of them
but
was going to say something, but then Dan goes.
I mean, there's a possibility that Yaz was going to say something.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not. To me, it doesn't feel that way. I mean, I can see totally why it has been interpreted by some viewers that way, as there being a hint at romance. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but at the same time, I wouldn't feel like I was massively deprived of anything if they don't follow through on any possible romance.
I would like them to see them do it, just because it's something so different in the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just quite refreshing just to see something like that.
I mean, we've not had like
annoy all the cis boys, all the wokers out there.
What?
All the two women on a children's show traveling through space and time that love each. No, thank you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Moffat did that already, didn't he?
Yeah, Doctor Who hasn't been as good since John Nathan Turner. That's what they all say.
Who's they, Tim?
All the commoners. Every hour my phone goes off. Beep beep. You got a comment. Oh, cool. What a nice supportive thing. This, of course, Peter Capaldi's not going back to Doctor Who. He knows it's woke, and he's not going to be associated with something as garbage as this.
I think you've been reading too many comments, Tim.
They're what come up on my phone. They're ours. They're on our videos.
Yeah. So do you read all the comments?
Yeah, I have to.
Do you have
Otherwise,
to?
the notification stays there.
I mean, could you not just like leave the notification unread?
Because it does my head in.
Oh.
Little number 1 in the corner all the time.
Is there no option to turn off the notification for comments?
You can't just turn them off for the comments. You have to turn them off for the whole app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked Flux.
Yeah, I liked Flux.
Yeah. How would you feel then about Yaz sticking around? I generally don't think I'd mind it.
I wouldn't mind it, but I'd be very surprised if it would happen. I know you shouldn't probably look at the series of the history of the show as a reference, because obviously anything could change at any point, as is always the case with Doctor Who. But I feel that judging from how showrunners in the past have done it, they always have a completely new slate, new Doctor, new companion. Obviously, that wasn't the original plan with Moffat, but it kind of set a precedent when he cast Matt Smith and also had the new companions and etc. So I would be very surprised, and I'd be surprised if Russell's plans include Yaz, because I just feel like he would rather just do his own thing.
Yeah, I think he will. I'd be surprised if she was there, but if she is, we haven't seen characters continue into new showrunners, and I would quite like to see that.
We have characters returning, of course.
Yeah, but to actually see an overarch thing.
Yeah, the closest we've really had is, I guess, River Song, but that was more kind of like...
And David Tennant nearly stayed for that Moffat series to sort of ease the transition, which would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But then I wonder if you would have looked at that and gone...
I feel like our outlook on the show and kind of the exchanging of showrunners would be very different if that had happened. And we'd see it as a much more kind of passing of the torch evolution rather than a huge
reboot.
A shift and change. Yeah.
I like Dan.
Yeah, I like Dan.
I'm
really glad that Dan is actually staying, because I was expecting Dan to be gone after Flux.
Yeah, you did. I remember you saying that. I was like, nah, he's going to be around for a while.
I'm glad. I'm really glad that Dan is seemingly going to stick around for the specials.
Yeah, do you think he's going to be... I hope he's in the New Year's... Sorry, not the when I say New Year's, I mean 2022 special.
As in the centenary?
Yeah, the centenary and the Easter one.
I mean, from what we've seen of kind of leaked set photos of Dan with Graham...
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm kind of feeling that the centenary special as a last story will have the Doctor, Yaz, Dan, Graham, and Ryan all back.
I think Ryan will zoom in. I don't think he's actually going to be there.
Like, isn't
Tolson calls it like America now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I know they did for Twice Upon a Time, didn't they have Jenna Coleman do a thing on a green screen?
Yeah, but she was meant to be like a hologram anyway, so it sort of works.
Yeah.
I feel like the Doctor will be like, what's this on my display?
Maybe it'll be...
And he'll be like, Hello, Doctor, it's me, Ryan. I'm just saying goodbye.
What?
I should be like, oh, cheers, Ryan, thank you. That's really lovely.
Are you doing impressions now, Tim?
That's Ryan.
Okay.
Doctor, I can't believe we haven't done this thing. Just mumbles.
He is pretty low register that he talks with, to be fair. That's a bit on the cruel side, Tim.
What other news do we have, Harold? Tulsi Cole's going on the podcast next week.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be thrilled after that display. So this is something that you put in. I'm not entirely sure why. Craig Parkinson, who played the Grand Serpent.
Yes.
He was on. Was it this morning that? I feel like, did that massively break the mic?
Doesn't matter.
No.
It's worth it for the This Morning theme tune. Hello to all our American listeners who probably don't know what This Morning is. Do you want to explain to them what This Morning is?
It's I guess it's
Good Morning America.
Yeah, it's like a breakfast show, kind of a magazine show.
Comes on at about 10 o'clock, doesn't it? It goes up about 1ish.
Yeah.
They talk to celebrities and do recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is it kind of is that what Ellen sort of is to them, or?
Yeah, but This Morning is good. It's not hosted by an arsehole. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Craig Parkinson was on, and one of the hosts, Dermot O'Leary.
Dermot O'Diddley.
What?
Dermot O'Diddley.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I've always called him Dermot O'Diddley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Dermot asked him if he could see himself playing the 14th Doctor, and he didn't really respond to it. He just kind of smiled.
The answer's no, he's not going to be the 14th Doctor.
No.
But I think he would make a good Doctor.
Yeah, I think down the line. I think it's didn't Colin Baker play a villain in the show before he was cast as
did, but it was only
Doctor?
a one episode thing, whereas Craig Parkinson was an overarching series mega villain, wasn't it?
Yeah. There were actually a lot of villains in Flux.
There was the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels,
the Grand Serpent, the Ravagers,
Swarm and Azura.
Yep, the Ravagers.
The Mask, not the Mask, Passenger.
Yeah, Time.
Yep.
Chris
Chibnall's probably the biggest villain of the lot. Well, ruining the show, ruining the history, shitting all over Hartnell. Have some respect.
Tim, the comments. These are the comments, Tim.
Yeah. Whenever I feel it's appropriate, I'll just read out some comments in my head.
All right. Yeah, but I'd be open to Craig Parkinson playing a Doctor. Obviously, based on kind of what he's best known for, which is kind of playing arseholes, evil arseholes, it would be a different take for him, and possibly a different take on the Doctor, but I'd be open to it.
What did you feel about the Grand Serpent just being put on that rock and just sent into space?
I feel like it's a suitable thing. I like the fact that kind of the 13th Doctor sometimes has these moments of real kind of just haha, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's just these moments where she just does not care.
Yeah. I also like the fact that it's open-ended so he can come back.
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah, he was cool. I feel like she would almost have been aware there was potential for him to come back. Whereas Swarm and Azure can't really come back.
Well, we spoke about this last week, and Harrison was he was a bit disappointed by that because they just sort of get wrapped up, literally.
Yeah.
And then that was it. He was I wanted something a bit more spectacular, really, for those two.
Because they were good villains. That's the one thing I will say about Flux that we really delivered on is that I really enjoyed the villains. And the original villains, not just the returning Sontarans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. Did you talk about the chocolate-loving Sontaran last week?
What did you think of that?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, we liked it.
It was bizarre and out of nowhere, and
where his eyes are what? Chocolate. And I'm what is happening?
I kind of just I was questioning it at first, but by the end of that scene I was just yeah.
It's very uncomfortable to watch, I found. I felt uneasy watching it.
But in a good way.
A little bit, yeah.
I kind of like it when Chibnall does stuff like that in his Doctor Who, where he kind of it includes a really that force. What's he called? The guy who could foresee things.
What episode?
Episode 5
of this series.
Yeah, they got one at the top of the mountain.
Oh yeah.
Where him just this really random guy teasing them,
yeah.
And it's
I'm teasing you.
I just really enjoy when Chibnall just every now and then just drops a what the fuck moment like that.
Yeah.
It just completely takes me off guard because normally he plays things pretty straight, so those always are like, where am I right now? And I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a Dalek update.
They're what are they doing these days?
I don't know. They've been out of the public eye for a while. And so, yeah.
They've got miniguns now.
Yes, this is called the Execute. Is that your minigun? Tim, what should we aim that thing? Tim, the walls. Tim, the phone. Watch out, Tim.
The church.
Get in the church. We did it. It was a reference. We made the reference.
I like that. That was good, that one as well.
Yay.
That famous episode of Doctor Who where Rose is machine gunning down the street and everyone the Doctor tells everybody to get in the shit. Rose, put it. You don't know what you're doing, Rose.
I gotta save my dad, Doctor.
No, Rose.
I gotta save my dad.
I'm gonna blow that car up.
The car tried to run over my dad, Doctor. Why did I make Rose Northern all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Tried to run over my dad, Doctor. And the only way to stop it once and for all is for blowing the shit out of it with this machine gun.
Rose, it's a rare Ford Granada. You can't, Rose.
I don't care. It's shitty fucking bang bang, Doctor. It ran over my dad. I feel like Camille gave a real stand-up performance in that episode. I feel like it really kind of resonated, really touched the heart.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What are the Daleks doing, Harry?
Yes. Chibnall talked about the new reiteration of Daleks, which is...
Did you listen to last week's podcast, even though you weren't on it?
I listened to, like, the short clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no.
I didn't listen to the whole hour, no.
Why not?
I have a life.
What are you saying about the people who listen to this?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I listen to you talk like every week. Why would I listen to you talk and not be part of the conversation?
You could turn it down when Harrison speaks. Just say your own little lines. Your little quips.
Just insert myself, just make a Harry cut.
Yeah.
Where I cut myself into the podcast. Hello, it's me, Harry, here the whole time.
What up, computer geeks? It's Tim here, and I'm currently sat in the tech hub of Bigger on the Inside. The guys and gals who work down here want me to tell you how you can contact the show anytime. You can do it by Instagram and Twitter. Just follow us by searching for @BiggerOnThePod. If that's not good enough for you, how about sending us an email? BiggerOnTheInsidePod@gmail.com. Sorry, you had the Daleks here.
Yeah, Chris Chibnall's introduced a new version of Daleks.
I missed out on meeting Craig Charles this week.
Really?
You know, from Robot Wars and Red Dwarf.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
He was DJing at a club I work at, but I had to work at another club.
He DJs?
Yeah, he does his Radio 2 show, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So he does like his funk and soul.
Mm.
And he was at one club that I work at, but I was at another club. And then when he finished at that club, he then went for a drink at another club I work at.
Ah.
So out of the 3 places I work, I happen to be at the one he didn't turn up at.
Do you like Red Dwarf?
Love Red Dwarf.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's cold outside, there's no kind of atmosphere, I'm all alone, more or less. Let me fly far away from here. Sun, in the sun. Let me lie shipwrecked and comatose, drinking fresh mango juice. Goldfish skulls nibbling at my toes. Fun, doo-doo-doo in the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Fun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Sun, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
This podcast episode has been copyright striked by UK TV for use of their intellectual property.
I've even ever seen Red Dwarf.
I mean, I've seen the odd episode now and again. It seems funny, but I've never properly watched it.
Ah.
Yeah. The Execution Daleks.
Let me...
Do you just not want to talk about the Execution Daleks?
I don't know what this is about.
Well, it's Chris Chibnall talking about how in the new special, as the Execution Daleks are those new redesigned Daleks with the turrets.
What's he calling them? The Execution
Yeah,
Daleks?
that's what they're called. They're the Execution Squad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all we know.
What's his quote?
Oh, is there a quote? Most of it's just kind of describing them, but there's no point describing.
We've got nothing else to talk about.
Oh, yes, we do. He said, I think it's always good to delineate and make specific the Daleks we meet at any point.
This doesn't sound like Chris Chibnall.
What does Chris Chibnall sound like?
He sounds like Paul McCartney.
I think it's always good to delineate and make specific the Daleks we meet at any point. These are the Bronze Daleks, which we've only really glimpsed in recent years. But in this episode we have an execution squad, armed with rapid-fire multi-blast weapons that make them even deadlier than standard Daleks. This is the New Year's Eve countdown. While you're stuck somewhere, the Daleks coming for you.
Yeah, it's not good, that one.
It wasn't very good, was it?
Sounded more like Crispin Rolfe, who was a local news reporter.
Oh, well, at least it sounds like something.
Yeah, cool. I like a little... What I will say about this era is that the redesigns have always been good.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this isn't like a complete overhaul, like with Resolution, but it's a kind of not a recolor, but kind of a rethinking of the bronze RTD era Daleks.
Do you think we'll see another Prime Minister? Because last year we had that Theresa May type character. Do you think this year we're going to get a Boris Johnson type character?
I've got a bad question. By the time Eve of the Daleks comes out,
will Boris Johnson even
be Prime Minister?
Do you see that picture that got leaked to him at his quiz?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, what a fucking ass.
I can't remember the last time, or even if there has been a time where a nation has so unanimously... I mean, I'm sure there are still some people defending him, but the discourse you see is just the nation has unanimously just turned against Boris Johnson.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a right-wing thing to say you don't want your vaccine and you don't want your jab, but then he's a right-winged man, like the Tories are right-winged, and it's like even the right-winged people are now totally against him. It's crazy. That said, go get your fucking jabs.
Yes. If we were doing recommendations this week, my recommendation would be...
We'll save it right to the end, because I do want to do some recommendations this week.
Yeah.
Because...
mine will be the booster jab.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it. But since you didn't hear that.
Okay.
Act surprised later, guys, when he says it again.
Spoilers, sweetie. Wink, sexy womanly.
Yeah, carry on.
That's what Moffat wrote in his script.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything about the execution Daleks.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Should be cool.
Nice, what's next?
Next is a Big Finish update. The update is Big Finish is still going to be a thing.
They're still doing... They've still got their Doctor Who licence.
That's right. The Doctor Who licence for Big Finish has been extended to 2030, to the surprise of, I imagine, nobody.
Yeah, which is good news.
Yeah, it means we get more classic Doctors, we get more Eccleston, more David Tennant.
Hopefully Smith and Capaldi.
I can imagine. Do you think before 2030?
Smith, I should probably say.
I can imagine we'll get Smith. Unless, I don't know, because he's going up and up in the world into...
Well, so was David Tennant. And now look at him. Having to stand in an audience and watch Adele sing.
What do you mean has? I'm sure that was a great night for him.
I don't like Adele.
Do you not like Adele?
Yeah, not really.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you not like about Adele?
It all sounds the same.
You think so?
Yeah!
I'd say that,
Don't like Ed Sheeran either.
You don't like Ed Sheeran?
Nope.
No, I'm hearing more and more people who say they aren't fans of Ed Sheeran.
What do you think of his new Christmas song? It's the most generic Christmas song.
I've not listened to any of Equals.
No.
You know what I'm annoyed by?
It's got Elton John in
Let me tell you something that Elton John is clubbing with everyone now. I don't like that Dua Lipa version of Rocket Man.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home.
No.
I
don't like that.
Why don't they say I'm a rocket man?
Yeah, it just is nowhere. It does not touch the original song.
No,
it doesn't come close.
And then he got the award for it when it went to number one. They were like, Elton John gets a new number one. Why?
I guess it's because he produced it and it is his song.
Yeah, but he's not even singing it.
But I imagine he's the guy who produced it.
Dua Lipa should have got the award. It's their song.
Okay, I mean I don't know. I don't really know that much about Dua Lipa.
It was like when I did that video. This is completely out of context. I recently filmed... I'm talking to the listeners now.
Okay.
I recently filmed a full live performance for a society at the university, and at the end they brought me on stage and gave me a big crate of beers in front of everybody. It was very nice. But then I had the awkward thing of going, well, they've given me the beers, but I also have 2 camera assistants with me. Luckily, neither of them drink, so I got to keep the beers anyway. But my full intention was to keep the beers for myself.
Yeah.
Because I sort of thought Steven Spielberg doesn't share his Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I can't remember what we're talking about or why I'm now giving this analogy.
We're
talking about Elton John.
How did we get to Elton John?
I can't remember.
I honestly can't remember.
Christmas songs, Adele, David Tennant, Big Finish.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get to say what I wanted to say about Ed Sheeran's albums.
Go on.
This is the thing that annoys me. So he had Plus.
We're going to start this segment again in a minute.
Yeah, but anyway, Ed Sheeran, he had one of his first albums was Plus, and he had like Multiply and Subtract now equals. He skipped Subtract. Where is the Subtract album, Edward?
Who's going to do it next?
But he went to equals. Next he'll be doing like Square Root. I'm calling it now. Ed Sheeran's next album is going to be called Square Root.
I think it's going to be called Brackets.
You mean Ratio? Or Ratio? Maybe Ratio.
No, just Brackets.
Okay. I think it'd be funny if like Ed Sheeran just did an album called Ratio just because of what ratio means in online discourse now.
Cool. Should we go back to Big Finish?
Yes.
Start it again. Because this is going to be one of the videos. Mate,
is it really?
Week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly, but Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant in the thumbnail.
Yes. So, Doctor Who's audio adventures are going to continue through to 2030. Big Finish, the production company that makes all of the Doctor Who kind of radio specials, well, you can't really call them radio specials, audio dramas, have had their Doctor Who license renewed through to 2030.
Hooray!
I mean, I don't think it's surprising. They've been doing this since, like, what, the 90s?
Yeah.
The Wilderness years?
Since before the TV movie.
Yeah, and they've always been consistently really highly acclaimed. So it just...
And we've spoken about some on the show. We did the Eccleston stuff. Me and Harrison have done... we've sort of battled with Big Finish stuff. Like, he does classic stuff, I do the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's always been really, really well done.
Yeah, and it's great. They have a great line of actors involved. We've got, of course, Pete Davidson, McCoy, Baker, McGann.
Yeah.
Tom Baker's been doing them as well.
Yeah.
And obviously David Tennant and most recently Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, so let's hope Matt Smith... I can see Matt Smith doing it. I can't see Capaldi doing it.
So I feel like maybe Capaldi still needs more time away from the show.
Yeah.
Whereas Matt Smith, I feel like...
Yaz, she'll be in there. Mandip.
Do you think so?
Mandip, John, and Jericho.
I can see, because I know that Jodie herself has done a lot of stuff like video games and Time Fracture. So I can see Jodie sticking around doing Big Finish. Maybe it won't be a few years.
I feel like it'll be maybe sooner than normal.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like Jodie has genuinely really enjoyed being involved with Doctor Who, even though she's not come from a place of fandom like someone like David Tennant did.
Yeah.
I feel like she has really grown to love Doctor Who and what it means to people.
What do you hope we're going to see then from Big Finish?
I just guess like more stories. We love stories.
Any particular stories? Do you think they're going to do something special for the 60th?
I don't know. I'd be surprised.
They did for the 40th, I think.
Yeah, they did.
They did for the 50th.
They did a thing for the 50th, didn't they? Where they did like short stories involving every Doctor.
Oh, did they?
Something like that.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
and like they all kind of interlinked.
60th's coming up, so hopefully
they'll have things planned.
David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston.
That would be the dream.
I think whatever the Doctors you don't see on TV, you'll get through Big Finish.
But the dream would be a Eccleston Tennant crossover in Big Finish.
Yeah.
Unless it happens in the show.
Yeah.
Which could happen. It could happen.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I'd like them... I'm trying to think in the new series what they could expand on. I really think you could do stuff with, with Jericho and Yaz and Dan going on their adventures and stuff like that. And also it depends what the gap is between Flux Chapter 6 and Eve of the Daleks. Because if they're continuing, then it's going to be really hard to fit stories in.
Yeah, I feel like they'll give an indication of some kind of space of time.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking when I was watching Flux, I was like, Big Finish aren't going to be able to fit anything in.
Yeah, which is why I guess I'm glad that characters like Dan are going to get a chance to stick around.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's room for that down the line.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just a Dan audio series, just him living alone.
What about a Dan and Donna audio series?
What, where they just cross paths?
Yeah, and
Could be called Double D's.
Now I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I changed my mind.
No, I like that, yeah.
I'm sure you do, Tim.
No, I think there's good... Sometimes I see it with Big Finish, sometimes I feel like they're just crossing over characters for the sake of crossing over characters.
Are you excited for the Doctor's daughter and Lady Christina crossover, Tim?
Is that actually happening?
No. I just know that would push buttons.
Yeah, it would, yeah. But it's like, sometimes I'll see like Paul McGann's Doctor crossing over with like certain things, or sometimes I feel like sometimes they maybe go too heavy with characters we don't really care that much about.
I mean, it's another thing
like
that
the police officer from the first episode of Torchwood.
Do they do that?
Yeah, he's like returned through Big Finish and stuff.
Okay. To do like supernatural things?
I don't know. It's usually like a supporting character.
Right.
I'm sure he's really good, but as an outsider, sometimes it comes across as a bit cash grabby. I don't mean that in a horrible way.
It kind of reminds me of the Star Wars thing, where every background character in like the cantina scene now has like a detailed backstory.
Really?
In expanded Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it's cool for people who are really into that universe. But
yeah.
For people like I know I make a Doctor Who podcast, so I can't say I'm not a fan, but I guess I'm a more casual fan.
Yeah.
I don't need to know.
I think we only really deep dive on stuff when we do a video on it.
Yeah, totally.
But like 90% of the time, I'm just watching it going, cool, let's go talk about that. And very rarely do I go back and go, but why did he have a blue gun in this scene? And then later on, he had a green gun.
There's a canon explanation.
It's canon as well.
The answer is Bigger Luke. It was Bigger Luke.
Bigger Luke all the time.
Yeah, it was always Bigger Luke.
What other news do we have, Harry? My boy.
We have some stuff from Stephen Moffat.
Who the hell is that?
He's a guy I think who wrote for the show at one point.
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah, a very long time ago, back in like 2016.
What's old Moffat got to say for himself?
Well,
Kelly-headed Moffat.
Stephen Moffat recently had another Q&A with the Oxford Union, and obviously he was asked about the possibility of coming back, and he responded, "I vote
to life."
Coming back to life. It was the ghost of Stephen Moffat.
He was just there going, ooh.
And Stephen Moffat responded, ooh. And he actually responded, "I've only just left. I mean, it feels like yesterday. I think Doctor Who fans will be throwing themselves off buildings if I came back." What?
A bit extreme, isn't it?
It is a little extreme.
When we were like, we'd love to see Moffat come back and do a couple of episodes under RTD. It'd be great.
Yeah, I'd be happy for him to go back. Yeah. But he said, "No, it's not in my immediate plans. For Russell, Doctor Who was over 10 years ago. For me, it's 3 or 4 years. And I mean, that really does, at my age, feel like yesterday. I haven't got perspective on it yet. Maybe the beginning of the Matt Smith stuff starts to feel like a different life, but it feels like nothing ago that I was doing it."
It hasn't been 3 years. It's been way more than that, hasn't it?
I guess like
4 or 5, hasn't it?
I think 4 years.
But I mean, I don't necessarily know if I'd like to see him return as showrunner.
No.
Yet. But to come and do a couple of episodes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I kind of like he did during the original Russell.
Gatiss as well. And obviously, I'd really like them to keep some new writers as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd be surprised if Maxine Alderton didn't come back to write something, because she's been really well received.
Paul Cornell. Fingers crossed. That's what we've been asking for.
I mean, he's been talking about Flux a lot himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big fan of Flux.
He was, which is always good.
Yeah.
So, I do like it when they bring them back now and again.
Stephen also gives some insight into Russell's plans, because he's obviously talked to Russell about it.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "I'm really curious to see what Russell's second go-round is like, what he's done now, because being the restless man he is, it won't be the same as the first time. Don't think you know what you're going to get. You don't." "I know a little bit because we chatted. He wouldn't be doing this unless he could scare the living shit out of you. It will be great." Yeah.
Because I watched a bit of that interview, and he says that he only told Moffat the day before.
Really?
Yeah, he sent him an email saying, "I'm going to be doing it again."
And he didn't think it was real, did he?
No, he woke up, he's like, I think he come back from a restaurant a little bit tipsy, and he'd seen the email, and he read it again the next morning and phoned Russell up. He was like, "Yeah. Gets announced today."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And he said that him and Russell had also spoken about the casting of the 14th Doctor.
Do you know what? How lovely it is to hear that they're still
in correspondence.
Yeah, and that they still value each other's opinions and stuff like that. It really does sort of take you back to like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's really, I quite like it.
Now, one of my favourite things is there's an interview of the two of them when they released kind of their novelizations of their stories, and they both had such different approaches and yet such respect for how the other one worked and loved each other's work.
Yeah,
and
because I wonder if Chibnall was staying, if he would have gone to Moffat for suggestions on who the next Doctor would have been. I can't see it.
You don't get the vibe that Chibnall is as close to either of them as they are to each other.
I think he's quite close with Russell.
Yeah, because I remember Russell saying a thing like before Chibnall was
each
in the
other's
cast.
house a couple of times and stuff like that. Yeah. But I like it. I mean, the fact that they're having those discussions about who could play the Doctor.
Yeah. Well,
if the discussion isn't there for Stephen to come back and write an episode,
it has to happen at some point.
I feel like he will at least be asked.
Yeah.
Whether or not he says yes is a different thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Russell didn't actually go into too much detail with Stephen, because when Russell started, I think Moffat basically stopped the conversation saying, "Just surprise me, I don't care, I don't want to know, I want to sit in the audience." So Moffat's kind of taking the same perspective that Russell was taking with Flux, where he doesn't want to know anything and just wants to enjoy it as a watcher.
Yeah. I mean, it's all very exciting. I mean, it's hard to talk about it and not sort of think about the industry behind the scenes stuff and why certain people have returned and stuff like that. But we'll save that for another day. But I just think it's really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and within a year we can then properly start speculating, and in a year we will know who the next Doctor is.
I mean, definitely, because we're going to get a regeneration.
Unless it's open-ended.
So speaking of, there's been a lot of talk about one actor in particular, Omari Douglas.
Yeah, we spoke about it last week.
Yeah, but did you talk about them both addressing the rumours?
We spoke about Ollie saying that Omari should be the next Doctor, and that he basically ruled himself out of it.
But now Omari himself and Russell T Davies have both thrown their hat in the ring on the discussion of the casting of Omari as the Doctor.
Okay.
Omari has said, "That's news to me. Very flattering to be thought of, though, especially with Russell returning as showrunner." That's all he said.
Oh, is that all he said?
But so quite non-committal.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, obviously he's not had those conversations yet.
He's not. I mean, I think it's interesting that everybody at the moment is just going through the It's a Scene cast. I think there's 2 at the moment who haven't been picked.
Yeah,
there's a tall guy with long hair and a guy who looks like Alan Partridge. They're the only 2 who haven't really sort of had their names thrown out.
Yeah,
but the 3.
Ollie, Lydia, and Omari.
My personal ranking is Lydia, Omari, and Ollie.
And we'll get to Lydia in a minute. But Russell has also...
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Russell has also said... Russell, interestingly, has spoken more about Omari Douglas than Omari himself, saying... he's just got everything you need in a leading actor. He's fearless and limitless, and stays great fun, even when the subject matter is tough. We had the works with Omari in It's a Sin, sex scenes, drag, riots, grief, and I don't remember Omari giving a single question or doubt. So, I mean, I don't think that's an indication that there's going to be sex scene, drag, riots, or grief with the Doctor. I mean, none of those would necessarily... Well, maybe sex would be out of the sex scenes. Grief? I mean, Doctor grieves all the time, yeah. I can imagine a Doctor in drag, in the riots... I can't imagine a Doctor having a sex scene. Especially seeing this as a family show.
I found it interesting. I saw an interview with Russell where... Was it Russell? It was something. And they asked him if he was come up with Doctor Who. Oh no, it was Stephen doing his Oxford Q&A thing, and they said he was surprised that Russell was returning because he doesn't think of Doctor Who. He doesn't come up with ideas anymore or stuff like that. So the fact that he's returning, I think, is quite surprising. So maybe that does mean it's going to go a completely different direction.
I don't imagine it'll not be a family show, though.
Oh, yeah. It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole, scope
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Show. I think it's going to be super ambitious and unlike anything we've seen the show. Because we forget how much Russell changed the show and the understanding of the show when he first came back in 2005. Get off the back of doing End of Time, Russell was the one who introduced the idea that regeneration is like death for that incarnation.
Yeah.
We could see similar innovations on the Doctor as a character, the lore, how we interpret the world of the show.
I'm watching, because we're watching Classic Who at the moment, and Ark in Space is Tom Baker's second story. And you don't know. You could if Harrison hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known. He's not like, who am I, trying to discover himself again. He's just there.
Yeah, he just kind of accepts that this is who he is now.
Yeah, I think, I'll save it when I talk about Classic Who, but it's interesting, isn't it? How much that show did change, and now it's all going to change again. But no, I think he'd be great. He'd be up there with one of my choices to play the Doctor.
Yeah, I'd love him.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to your top choice, Lydia West, because you have a bit of a insider info about this.
We hunted down Russell and we asked him. Well, what happened? Did he posted a picture?
You explain it. Because I believe Lydia West received some sort of outstanding BAFTA kind of. I don't know if it's a nomination or a recognition thing.
Yeah.
But BAFTA have recognised Lydia West in some way. And
but It's a Sin, I think.
Yeah, or just in general. And Russell T Davies made this post just very glowing, talking of how much he loved Lydia West and how she's all these things. And then,
I've got post notifications on for Russell ever since he announced he was coming back. I was like, well, I missed it, so I should have my post notifications on for him. So every post on Instagram, I get a notification. It came up, and it was a picture of Lydia, and obviously I instantly went, oh, maybe he's just announced she's the Doctor or something like that.
A lot of people just think that in the comments.
Yeah, so I just left a comment. I think he said brilliant actor or whatever, and I just put ... and the 14th Doctor. ? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And then in the past, when we've commented on Russell's stuff, where we've sort of alluded to stuff in the past, he usually doesn't interact with it. And you had said, I would be surprised if he likes that comment. And literally within 30 seconds later, my phone goes off again. Bing! RTD likes your comment of, and the 14th Doctor. Now, that doesn't say anything at all.
It could mean nothing. It could mean absolutely nothing. But it could mean something.
It could mean something.
It could mean something.
Why would you like it?
I think it clearly means...
He's thought about it.
Yeah, he's thought about... It's under consideration. It's on the cards that Lydia West could be the 14th Doctor. In the same way that Omari Douglas is on the cards to be the 14th Doctor.
Yeah. Do you think Russell's... Like, Chibnall was... He only was looking at auditioning women for the role. He didn't look at any guys. He knew the Doctor was going to be a woman.
I feel like Russell...
Do you think Russell's got a more open...
Yeah. Well, I feel like kind of... the doors have been blown open now.
Yeah.
That the Doctor can be any gender, any race. It doesn't matter. As long as they're a great actor, they're a good fit for the Doctor.
Yeah.
So I feel like Russell is going in with a completely open mindset as to who this could be.
Yeah.
I imagine it will be someone he's worked with in the past.
Yeah.
It might not even be. It might be a complete outsider.
I imagine I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
Had he worked with any of its assistants before? Oh, Lydia West.
He'd worked with Lydia West on Years and Years, but the rest of them, I think, were new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had he worked with... I'm then going back to Years and Years, who he'd
worked with Russell Tovey before.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he worked with anyone else from that show before.
I imagine they might have had bit parts in Doctor Who.
Possibly, yeah.
Jessica Hines.
Oh, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Bits and bobs, isn't there? It's exciting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love it to be Lydia West. She's my top choice. Who's your top choice? Is it still Ollie?
It was Ollie, but Ollie has quite kind of resolutely shut that down.
Yeah.
And I kind of am always in a place where maybe with kind of the success and nominations he received from It's a Sin and also his music career seeming to be as successful as ever, maybe Ollie Alexander is too big to play the Doctor.
I don't think he is.
You don't think so?
No. But I feel like he's more focused on his music at the moment.
Yeah, which is, you know, of course, you want to pursue his own artistry.
Did you notice that he was, when Doctor Who Chapter 6 aired, it ended and then they went to Strictly.
And Years and Years was before. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, cool. Anything else?
That's all the news that we have. So
should we do some quick recommendations?
Sure.
'Cause we normally do recommendations at the watch along, and there is recommendations later, I think. But I feel like since you're not going to be doing a watch along until the new year, we should do some recommendations in the main part of the show as well.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I mean, I've already said...
Act surprised, everybody. He's an idiot and he's forgotten he's already told us.
So I'd like to recommend... I know it's quite a mundane, everyday thing, but making sure if you're not already vaccinated or get the booster jab or whatever... I mean, I don't know if it's probably not something I need to say. It's probably something you already know, but obviously... We're not out of the woods yet with this pandemic. It looks like things could be changing, and I feel like just anything we can do to protect ourselves. I mean, even now, at the time of recording, it's not
sat in a hazmat suit. You're sat in one of those big hazmat suits, and he's constantly spraying me with disinfectant, just sat there. Psh, psh, psh.
Yeah, but if I could, I would. But basically, you know,
you should.
I mean, I've already tried to get an appointment for a booster jab, even though I think it's 2 days before it's open to our age group.
Yeah.
But it's like, do what you can, and I know it's come out of nowhere, but it's like, I feel like...
Use your common sense, people.
Yeah. Just be safe.
When you can get the jab, go and get it.
Yeah. Get it sorted.
Wear your mask when you can. If
Well,
you can't wear a mask, make sure you've got your lanyard.
Yeah, like I see people on...
I saw one of those lanyards for the first time, like, actually was able to look at one, because I had a friend come round and she was wearing it, and she was like, had like the sunflowers on it, and I was like, can I look at it? And like, it actually says like on the back, like, your stuff, like the reasons you can't.
That's cool.
So like, if you generally can't wear one, I'd definitely look at
getting one.
Yeah, because like, you know, it's good.
Because I see people on like the train all the time where, I mean, I obviously keep distance, keep masks because that's the rules now, but I see people who just are casually not wearing a mask, not thinking about it. It's like, pardon?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally understand why some people are against it now more than ever with everything that's come out recently.
Yeah, it doesn't help there's been a huge lack of faith and trust in our leader.
Yeah. So when I see people not wearing a mask, I'm not as annoyed as I was a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm not like, what the fuck, are you idiot, you're going to kill us all, you know, like whatever I was in March 2020.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I totally get why you don't want to wear a mask, it's your choice, but
I mean, it's
fucking get a mask.
Yeah. It's for those around you. Just
Yeah.
be considerate, be safe, all of that. Anyway,
Yeah.
Tim, do you have a more fun recommendation?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah. It's not a TV show or anything like that. Basically, on Saturday was my 3-year anniversary of being self-employed. Thank you for my gift.
You never told me.
I thought you would have known.
I didn't.
Anyway, and I've been working at nightclubs and stuff and being self-employed doing photography, and I've sort of fluctuated between
Flux.
Yeah, very good. Between various clubs, but there's always been one consistent club that I've always worked at. And I posted a load of photos over the last 3 years of me at this club with all my work colleagues and stuff. And there was one, and I realised I didn't actually have a picture of me and my boss. So when I went to work that night, me and my boss got a picture taken, and it's a really nice picture, and I really like it. And then he made it his profile picture, the picture of me and my boss, and it was one of those things. I was like, "That's like so nice," because I was like, he didn't have to do that. I think like the original one was probably like him and his son, and he only put it up as like a temporary profile picture. But I was like, "Oh, that's actually really like." So basically, what I'm recommending is if you are a boss or an employer. If you're a high up at a business, just try and be really nice to like your employees because I think they really appreciate it. Not just at work, but in social life as well. Just try and be nice because like me and my bosses and stuff, like we message each other outside of work and we'll send like movie trailers to each other. Like I woke up the other day and there was a message from one of my bosses and it was the Sonic 2 trailer. He was like, "This looks awesome, what do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then another boss was like, "Do you want to go and see Craig Charles do his Funk & Soul show with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I think just like if you are of a position of power, I do in quotation marks, just be nice to like your employees because I think they really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
valid.
And also I would like to mention Amazon.
Amazon?
Okay, so I ordered a Christmas present and it said it had arrived and it had been handed to a resident, but it's not here. So I'm not sure if either one of my neighbours has stolen it or if it just isn't here and it's been a mistake. So I phoned up Amazon and they were very helpful with, trying to help me find this parcel. And they said that they were going to phone me back in a couple of days. But what really took me by surprise is the lady on the phone, like once the whole thing had finished, she went, "And how are you? Are you okay? Is your mental health good? How are your family?" Asked me like how I was doing. And I was like, it took me by surprise, but I was like, I'm actually really good. And you know when you're like, I feel like they should do that more often with customer service.
Totally.
So just be nice and check in on people, I guess, is what I'm going to recommend this week, especially near Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I know that to my own admission, I'm bad at checking in on people. I'm really bad at instigating that. And it is going to be kind of a New Year's resolution of mine to just be more front-coming with kind of seeing how people are, meeting up with people.
So what I will recommend off the back of that is if somebody does reach out to you, don't just blank them.
Totally.
Because sometimes you find that person has reached out because nobody's reached out to them. So they're messaging you because they might not feel the best. And if you don't reply to them, then it's going to make them feel like shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. Anything else? Should I just check the news really quickly on Dr.
Yeah. What's our subscriber count right now?
Should we mention the Whovian Choice Awards?
Oh, yes.
Voting's now closed. I think it all gets announced maybe next week.
So Nick Zeke will know whether or not we got anything.
Yeah, we'll I imagine they're going to post a video.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Do you want to watch that video together, or do you just want to watch it whenever? Or do you want me to watch it and send you the results?
What time is it? When's it come
I
out?
have no idea.
Because I'm going to be...
I'm going to watch it when it comes out.
Okay, because I'm going to be at work for a while, so yeah.
Yeah, so the voting closed. I know some people of you did vote, so thank you very much for that. The live subscriber count, last time I checked, was 20 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers.
Do you think we can get to 1,000 subscribers this week?
I'd hope so.
Yeah. I think our goal was to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, and that feels attainable.
Here we go. Our current subscribers is 980.
Okay.
So 20 more subscribers. I reckon we can do that in a week.
Yeah!
I know we normally do this at the top of the video, but it's been, because we haven't had an episode of Doctor Who this week, it's been a bit of a different episode.
All over the place, all over the shop.
Yeah. Do you want to take us into Ark in Space Part 2?
How am I meant to do that?
It's up to you.
So, Tim, I've had a real problem with my arc.
Yeah.
Recently. Yeah, my arc's going to space, and it's not just one part of my arc; it's the second part. So it's like I've got my arc in space part 2. That's a real doozy, isn't it, Tim? I didn't even watch this one.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut it up!
Humans are better in one respect. You are better at subscribing. Seek, locate, subscribe.
What's the point in having you all?
We're back. Yeah, we're doing Ark in Space Part 2. Written by
Robert Holmes.
Should we talk about the opening titles? Because we didn't speak about them.
Yes. I'm funny you mentioned that. Yeah. Opening titles are quite like.
Well, these are like the iconic Doctor Who opening titles, aren't they? I feel there's David Tennant's and this are like the two.
Yeah, because it has that. That like diamond logo. That's very classic. Yeah. Who it's up there with the McGann one. That one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? But no.
What do you think to having the Doctor's face in the opening title?
Yeah, I love it personally. I think it's great because it really gives off that because
they did it with Matt Smith, didn't they?
Yeah, they had it very briefly. It was like a glimpse which worked, but it'd be really cool if they brought that back somehow. But if it's not as obvious, hence why I like the one that had Matt Smith's clip, just like a glimpse.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
because otherwise, I know in the Pertwee era it looked really odd with him heading towards the camera.
Yeah, with all the glowing light.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like having Tom's face in the titles. Yeah. I like any Doctor's face in the titles.
You said you had an interesting point to make.
Yeah,
in last week's episode, but you didn't get a chance to make it.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I realised, so in terms of classic Who, if anyone's watched Revenge of the Cybermen, which is also in season 12, I've just realised that the location in Revenge of the Cybermen is the arc from Ark in Space, and it's kind of a follow-up. I won't say what happens with spoilers, but so it's almost she's almost
Revenge of the Cybermen in a future episode.
It's in the future episode in season 12.
Okay.
It's what we're in now. So it's almost Satellite 5 is in...
that's interesting.
And then it returns in the finale.
Okay.
It's the same here, essentially.
Yeah, so maybe we might have to do them at one point.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane, she's frozen.
Sarah Jane, she's frozen.
She's a big old ice pop.
Another
Sarah Jane light episode where she just really gets demon.
It's the same again, isn't it? We've got damsel in distress thing, but
then she
does get fooled out.
But then we have that unfrozen woman with the short hair,
Vira.
Yeah, who gets a lot of screen time while Sarah Jane's just sort of
around. Yeah, I mean, we can only hope that she gets more to do in parts 3 and 4. But as of right now, she's just, as of right now, she's not contributing anything to the plot whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a shame to see. But as I said, we're only halfway into this, so we can't have a complete outlook on it. But I get what you mean. Yeah, she's just almost like a person to talk to give exposition to. I think Harry's
they're giving him a lot of screen time, aren't they? There's some great stuff with just him and the Doctor just chatting with each other. Harry's very chill.
He is, isn't he? Even from the cliffhanger and how that resolved, I just thought, what was the point of that suspense?
Yeah, he was like, where did that come from? I was like, out of that cupboard.
I find it so hilarious that he was that calm there, and then as kind of Sarah Jane came out of her form thing, she was like, ooh, what's happening? Screaming.
Yeah, well, I wrote that down because she's scared of everything. I'm like,
what's going on?
But she's been and done all this stuff before with John Pertwee, so I was
Planet of the Spiders wasn't too long ago, in terms of timeline.
Yeah, so I was slightly confused why Sarah Jane was scared of everything.
I would like to believe, eventually, I mean, obviously, I presume, I'm no expert, obviously, but when you kind of travel with the Doctor, I presume it's quite frightening at first, but it has to come to a point where I was just another monster, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Same with, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. There comes a point where they've got to be we've seen this before.
Should we talk about the giant slug, which is clearly just a man in a sleeping bag?
Yeah, you can tell it's bubble wrap and, green something. You can even, see the...
yeah.
I mean, as I said in the last part, the classic Who is classic Who, but yeah, obviously it's harder to watch it coming from a new Who.
Though, isn't it?
It's quite eerie when you see it.
Isn't it? I like they've put sort of a glow in the dark paint on it, I think.
I think that's one of the highlights Classic Who has with like it's a lot of like practical costumes, which works well with like New Who at times. It's quite heavy on like CGI, but it got that eeriness across. I mean, I like how this is quite eerie. How you've only, as I said, we've only like seen the monsters or the threat in the dark or in glimpses.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in parts 3 and 4 with this, with like Noah turning into this green blob thing.
What was the thing that came out of the cupboard called?
What the
Mantis? Is that what it's called?
Oh, what that
giant
green
fly.
slime that was in that container?
No, like the giant fly thing that fell over the.
I don't know if that had a name or not. I don't know.
You don't really see it, do you? You just see the back of it.
Nah, it was almost like they ran out of budget or something.
But we saw its face at the end of last week's episode.
So
when it falls out, you see a big fly head.
Yeah,
and then when it lands,
it's a bit annoying. 'Cause obviously, it comes out and you think, "Oh, this would be cool," and then it's just lying on its back towards the camera, like the whole of this part. So I get what you mean.
There's
but
some terrible miniatures, like the spaceship itself. When they show it in space, I'm like, they could have. I feel like everything was very rushed back then.
I believe it was. I honestly believe, I know this didn't happen. I know this happened in like Collins era a lot, but I know that production in general for Classic Who was very tight. They literally film one in a very small period of time, then go right on to the next one.
Yeah.
So it's to be expected, I guess.
The Doctor gets shot. He gets shot.
He gets atomized, and he's completely fine. I find it so funny his reactions. I was saying something important. I thought that was really
that's
funny.
quite good, isn't it? Yeah. And then that guy gets slimed.
Yeah, he gets slimed. I mean,
he gets a bit of slime on his hand. Yeah, Noah, and then he falls over.
Yeah, I honestly think the actor's overacting a teeny bit in some bit. I do remember the bit where he goes "No more aliens,"
and then that other guy gets shot, doesn't he? And he's like, his arms fly back, and he goes, "Oh,
yeah,
it falls over on his back."
Livery, innit? Yeah, that wuss guy.
There's a really nice aesthetic to these episodes, though. They look really nice.
No, they do.
They don't look as cheap as I was imagining they were gonna look.
You're not wrong. I like the exterior of the spaceship. And they're on that stairwell, that black area.
It's quite good.
It's quite atmospheric, isn't it? It looks quite
minimalistic, isn't it? Yeah.
And I like the grain on the film. You can
I think that's
see
just
it.
because it's old film.
Yeah, I don't know if
it's not a choice.
I mean, I don't know if it is or not.
No, it's not. It's because it's fucking 30 plus years old.
It's Classic Who, isn't it? Let's go with that. But it looks atmospheric.
They made that choice to shoot it in a shit quality.
I'm a film student, so at times I overanalyze potentially. What else you got?
Have they ever done updated effects?
Oh, they have, yeah. In those Blu-ray releases that have, the ones that have got the Doctor on the front and the
what do they look like? I wonder if I watched them if I'd be more invested.
I mean, I've seen a few of them. It's not as if it's a groundbreaking change, but it's improvement for sure. It definitely looks better. I think you get the choice in those Blu-rays to watch it as it was or with the updated effects.
Yeah. That might be interesting. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
I like the effects at the very end where he takes his hand out of his pocket. He's got a big green slobby hand.
Yeah.
That's it looks, even I went, ugh.
It looks cool. It's just nice to see more emphasis on practical things and whatnot. I think that happens with most franchises, even with Star Wars. You get the classic trilogy, a lot more focus on practical effects. Then you get the prequels, which is just CGI.
Yeah.
It looks cool, and I like that slow reveal. And it's interesting we haven't still had a clear close up of what the actual main villain is yet, apart from that green thing in that container we saw.
Yeah, one where it's one where it started doing that on the floor, and squinching around the floor,
which I like.
The Fourth Doctor gets separated from Harry and Sarah in this, doesn't he? Quite early on.
Yeah,
spends a lot of his time on his own.
I like this, to be honest. I think this is a complaint I've had in a lot of New Who, and it's not just in Jodie's era, but when the companions are constantly hanging out with the Doctor, they're just they just get handed exposition to them.
Yeah.
I like when they get their own time to shine. So when Harry's on his own with Vira or whatnot, and when the Doctor's having that chat, I think it works well. And it's really cool to have them split up, because otherwise it just gets a bit too crowded. In my personal opinion, that's just me. What else you got?
I'm all out. Anything else? Anything else that you particularly like?
I mean, I just like how this is like building. It's slowly building more and more, and you get, you know, learning more about the exposition of what's happened. Like the first part, you didn't know what happened to Earth, and the second part here, it's like solar flares and whatnot, and you hear how this cryo freeze has gone wrong. It's been hijacked by this alien thing. So it's really cool. Just like,
I wonder if you watched 1 and 2 back to back, how they would hold up as a one episoder. I wonder if you would think it was quite slow, or if I wonder if the 2 cliffhanger endings would sort of work quite well as like 2 suspense points throughout the episode.
I think potentially. I mean, I don't know, because that cliffhanger to part 1 where that Mantis came out, I thought, okay, this is cool, and then like Harry's reaction just kind of completely killed it for me. Like, oh. That's the thing. It just falls on the floor, and I thought, okay, that fell a bit flat for me.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to judge them on their own. But I honestly think on their own it works well. And like as I said earlier, you know, it's like with Flux, isn't it? How you like each episode's its own thing, but at the end you get that, you know. But no, I think it works well. I'm enjoying this a lot, and it's really cool to get into Classic Who. You know, because I know on this channel, so he's like new Who focus, so it's nice to get some Classic Who in there, man.
Let's do the quiz!
You, not me. I hate being patient. Patience is for wimps.
Do the quiz!
There was no quiz last week. I've got 2 questions for you here, Harrison. One of them I know you want to know the answer to, so let's start with that one.
So you didn't tell me.
Finish the quotes.
Right.
Touch that switch and I'll blank you.
Are these some Markins face?
Yeah.
Oh right.
What the fuck did you think?
I thought this is General Doctor Who. What? Slap you?
Nope. I'll give you 2 guesses.
Please do. I'm not.
Atomize.
Atomize, yeah.
So you didn't get that one. That was one I thought you were going to get.
Right.
If the Doctor and Harry didn't rescue Sarah, how many years would she have been frozen for?
Oh, God.
They say it in the episode.
No, I know they do. It's either 10,000 or 5,000.
It's 3,000. So it was
anyway, moving on from the
Do you know worse than Harry?
I do like this episode. I just thought I'd point out. I like it that much. I was that engrossed. Like, I didn't know
attention to any of the details.
I didn't know I like Doctor Who. I promise. I had the cards.
Since we did do a quiz last week and we did recommendations, we won't do recommendations this week. We did the quiz. Yeah, cool. So I mentioned it last week, and if I haven't mentioned it in the news bit to start with, the interview with Johnny, who played Passenger, is out now. You can go back and you can find that. There's lots of old interviews that we've done with Doctor Who cast before, so go and listen to all of those. There's some really cool, interesting stories there about filming Doctor Who with Christopher Eccleston in Series 1. There's some like never before heard stuff. It's good stuff, isn't it, Harrison?
Yeah, so absolutely, mate. And on this channel, guys, we've got all sorts of content. It isn't just the watch-alongs. We've got everything. We've got interviews from current series, from Flux, with Passenger. We have it all. We've got variety. And we've got some like audio stuff in like future we're talking about, aren't we? That's what you said, isn't it?
Did I?
Yeah, you did. The epic return of the Big Finish battles.
Yeah, we're looking at doing some more Big Finish stuff.
Get some audio in there.
Maybe not some battle stuff, maybe some reviews. We'll have to wait and see.
Cool with me.
Cool beans. Right, I'll say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for exclusive content on Bigger on the Inside podcast.
Make sure you subscribe to the official Bigger on the Inside podcast.